Good morning, YouTube. Fall is here in full force, and that means it's time to cook some pumpkin. Okay. All right, so the first thing, if you're gonna cook a pumpkin, make sure you have one that is meant to be cooked. Most of the time, if you go to get a pumpkin, you've got a couple choices. Of course, you can grow it yourself, or you'll have a pumpkin patch, or you'll find them at the grocery store. These came from a pumpkin patch, and of course, normally you wouldn't pick one this big, but this is what happens when you take your 8-year-old to the pumpkin patch. You get the biggest one you can find. What you want to do is make sure, if you don't know, that you're buying one that is meant to be cooked, right? So this actually is a pie pumpkin, a sugar pie pumpkin. It's also the one Joey picked out to carve for his jack-o'-lantern, so we're not going to do this one. This isn't one of the heritage breeds of pumpkin, and it's also meant to be cooked, which is super easy, by the way. All right, so because it is so big, I'm going to have Ricky come in here and help me cut it open. I'm not going to do that on camera because he won't appear on camera, but all I'm going to do is run a knife through it like that and that way. The sound effects are optional, by the way. You don't have to do that. All right, so we're going to cut it open, and then I'll be back to show you the next step.
Action.
Okay, so I cut it into 4 pieces, and then just to make it easier to work with, because this one is so big, I then cut 1 of the 4ths into 2 pieces. So these would be 1/8, roughly. It's not exact. And then you scoop out the seeds and the smudge. Alright, and again, just to make it easier to work with, I'm cutting it into sections. I have an oven set to 350 degrees, and this is just going to go on a baking sheet, just like this, okay? Now, once you get your pumpkin open, you can trim all that out with a knife. I think it's just as easy to use a spoon, just to scoop it all out. Of course, you want to save that for toasted pumpkin seeds, right? So all we're going to do to get this ready for the oven, we'll come back and deal with those guys in a minute, is, now if you're going to make savory dishes with your pumpkin, hang on, got a cupboard that doesn't want to stay shut. If you're going to make savory dishes, go ahead and get some salt and pepper on here. Ours, however, at least the majority of it, is going to be for pumpkin pie. So this is just a little bit of olive oil. And you're just rubbing the cut sections, the surfaces, okay? That's all there is to that. You know, the funny thing is, Boone walked in a minute ago and he goes, oh, it smells like cantaloupe. And he's right. This particular variety of pumpkin, I wish I knew the name of it, does smell a little bit like cantaloupe. But you can also smell the sugars. So if you know how a pumpkin smells from carving pumpkins at Halloween, the ones that are meant for food, for consumption, actually smell much sweeter. I think that's kind of cool. That has nothing to do with how you cook it. I just think it's it's an interesting tidbit. All right, I'm going to get more pumpkin ready. It's going to go in the oven at 350 degrees, and we're going to let it go for half an hour. Then we're going to turn everybody over and let it go for another half hour. The main thing to remember, though, is you want it to be super, super soft, okay? That's why we're going to be able to peel it real easy. So absolutely fork tender and even a little beyond. That's what we're going for.
Cut.
All right, y'all. Here we go. This pumpkin, probably because the pieces were so big, I should have cut them in half. But anyway, it took an hour and a half at 350 degrees to get nice and soft. And when I say super soft, boom. See? You want it like that. Now, it's ready to use however you want to use it. If you're going to make pie with it, you take all this, you scoop all this out, and it just like comes right off. Throw it in the food processor, and you have pumpkin puree. How easy is that? Or you can just snack on it. Actually, it tastes really, really good. Okay, so you saw how little work that was. I mean, the most of the work was making Ricky come in here and cut the thing apart for me. But other than that, you literally throw it in the oven for however long it takes to get it fork tender. And actually, the easiest way to do that, set it for 30 minutes, come back and check it. I was thinking of the previous batch I did, which the pieces weren't this big and it took about an hour. So I was thinking that took longer because I had a giant pumpkin. But anyway, that's all there is to it. You can use it however you want to now. Ooh, we should make some pumpkin ravioli. Hey YouTube, thanks for watching. And if you thought that video was helpful, do me a huge favor. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit the little bell so you get a notification whenever I post a new video. And if you have a second, hop on over to Patreon and check out how to support my channel even more. Again, thanks for watching.